I'm Javier Harkeen, and this is Harking Back, a podcast about the pop culture of a lifetime. Whose life? Mine. I'm going back through every year I've been alive and finding out what was going on in that year. This week we're looking at 2019. I was 37. I haven't done a couple of episodes in a little bit. I've been busy. Apologies about that. Thank you for being patient with me. Had family visiting and cruises and other things. Just, life gets in the way. Right, here we go. 2019. I was 37. Start of this year, I did Adelaide again, the Adelaide Festival. Again, I know I had a terrible time the first time I did it, and I said I wouldn't go back to Adelaide unless it was on a plate. Damn it. Gilda Balloon, a company that I used to do Card Ninja lots with in Edinburgh, they put it on a plate. They said they'd take me out there, produce the show. I got a slot in, what's it called? The Garden of Unearthly Delights. Is that the place? So it's one of the big venues, or collection of venues in Adelaide. If you've been there, or is it the Pleasure Garden? Oh, I get them confused. Either one. It sounds like a sex party. Either way, and they know it. Whether it's called the Pleasure Garden or the Garden of Unearthly Delights, it's very much. Oh, is this Eyes Wide Shut? Anyway, it's a collection of kind of pop-up tent venues and stuff, and I had a great time. I think it was on about like 7 o'clock, that sort of thing, and still struggled to get audiences in. I still had a really tough time at that festival, and I do remember talking to them and saying, I'm not doing 5 weeks out there, because it is a month longer than Edinburgh. It's such a long festival. I stayed in student accommodation because everything else was taken, and anything closer was out of my budget. It was like a half-hour walk into the venue during summer in Adelaide. It was scorching hot. The venue was so hot. I'd come out just drenched in sweat. Ooh, yes. And then walk all the way back. I looked at my watch one day. I did 29,000 steps. I think that was a record I ever got to. 29,000 steps in one day. And I was absolutely knackered. I tell you what, I didn't care about the accommodation at the end of the day because I would sleep like a baby. I remember I did a radio interview for this station and to promote the show there, and there was a Ferris wheel in the middle of this Garden of Unearthly Delights, and the radio host duo decided to set up a challenge of being on the Ferris wheel for 24 hours. Like, they were allowed to come off for peeing or stuff, but they would be on the Ferris wheel for 24 hours, and they'd interview people that were doing the Fringe. The female host got sick after about 4 hours and had to leave, so the guy was there on his own, and I think it was coming in about hour like 18 or something for him, and he was so spaced out. I remember getting in the interview. I get on the booth with him on the Ferris wheel to do this interview, and he's like, "G'day, mate. So tell us all about what's your show?" And he's barely holding it together. And most of the interview was me just going, "Are you okay, mate? How you doing? When was the last time you had water? Are you hallucinating? Do you know where you are?" It was one of my favorite interviews. So yeah, did Card Ninja there. Did a tour of Card Ninja back in the UK that year. I was getting so sick of this Card Ninja show. The problem was it was supporting me. And, if anyone that's ever turned a hobby kind of into a job, you start resenting your job. And also I was starting to get injuries doing the show. I started doing it when I was in my 20s, and now I was getting well on. And so I started getting injuries. I pulled hamstrings during the show. I had to start warming up properly for this. I had to be match fit. It was taking up lots of my time practicing, and I wasn't sure if this was what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life, this Card Ninja show. But anyway, let's move on. That's enough about me. Let's see what happened in 2019. One of the big things that happened in 2019 was the college admissions cheating scandal. Do you remember that? Where people, I loved this, wealthy Americans got caught essentially bribing colleges to take their kids. Like, what is it about the US? Like, I know tertiary education is expensive, but it is so expensive in the US. Like, for these guys have just managed to make their names for themselves, like Harvard or UCLA, US. I don't know. The big ones, Brown and all that. And some celebrities got caught doing this. Like, one of them was Lori Loughlin, who no one had really thought about since Full House. Remember that? She was like Uncle Jesse's, what was it? Aunt Rebecca? Sorry, not just Uncle Jesse's squeeze. Aunt Becky? She was one of my first TV crushes. Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives served 11 days in prison for this. What's she going to gain from... Why send her to jail for 11 days? What's the point of that? Fine her ass. Get some money into the system off. If she can afford it, if she can afford to like buy off these universities, she can afford a fine. Anyway, that shit happened. It's just, ugh. And imagine thinking if you were one of their kids, like, yay, I am smart enough. Oh no, my parents bought them off. I thought I was smart enough to get into this university off my own merit. Turns out, no, it's nepotism. Not even nepotism, bribery. Bribery. Flat out bribery. Wouldn't that just make you feel a bit like, Dad, Mum, I could have done it. Or who knows, maybe they were like, I don't know the kids. Maybe they would have been like, hey, just get me in. Okay, I don't care what you need to do, just get me in. God, I hate kids that just say that shit to their parents. Anyway. Also, this was the year that Jesse Smollett, who was an actor, got caught lying to police about two men attacking him in an anti-gay, anti-black hate crime. He staged it. I don't know why. Like, to bring awareness, like we didn't all think that this was already out there. Like, so this implies that he wanted to have this happen because he staged it, right? I wonder if, like, before he resorted to faking it, he was like, okay, I'm just going to go out there and have this thing happen to me. And, like, wandering around areas, just kind of going like, here I am, all black and gay. Anyone want to assault me? Shit, I'm going to have to do it myself. So I followed the case a little bit, looking at it. Mysteriously, the year after, all charges were dropped. And he was dropped from the show, but all charges were dropped. Anyway, ugh, how icky. Ugh, imagine going like, I was the victim of a hate crime and having everyone going like, oh my God, I'm here for you. This is, look at the world. And then go, oh, you fucking staged this. Well, isn't that just backfired and sent whatever you're trying to do back 10 paces? Ugh. Also in 2019, the bottle cap challenge goes viral. Do you remember this one where people like had to like kick a bottle cap, like unscrew it with your kick? I liked this one because it actually required some skill, you know? And no, bottle flipping is not a fucking skill. All right? Jesus, bottle flipping. When is that going to end? Oh, by the way, and this comes from someone who flicks cards for a living, okay? Bottle flipping is so stupid. So this bottle cap one started when Max Holloway, an MMA fighter, did it and challenged John Mayer, the singer. I couldn't find out if they're actually friends. I prefer if they weren't. So the Max Holloway did this and he was like, all right, you John Mayer. I like the idea that they just have no connection. And John Mayer just went, all right, MMA boy, I'll do that. I like the idea of combat sports personalities challenging musicians. Like if like Tyson Fury said, hey, Elton, I dare you to drop kick a fridge. Yeah? And Elton was like, I'll show you, Tyson. I saw the one that John Mayer did. He's got a good kick on him. He does. I don't know if he's trained or not, but hey, if music doesn't work out for you, get into some MMA. Also in 2019, the phrase "Okay, Boomer" goes crazy. I've had that thrown my way. Okay, Boomer. I'm like, a millennial. Thank you. But the more I think about it, like, hell, I would have loved to have been a boomer. Shit, that sounds. It's not an insult. Like, imagine. Oh no, I'm a guy that bought a house for 1/10 of what it costs today, and there was no social media when I was growing up. Oh shit, no. Like, geez, being a boomer would have been awesome. Disney Plus launches in November of 2019, and we all thought this is going to be great. The exclusive series they're going to release on this baby are going to be awesome. I cancelled my subscription last year. Oh, in 2019, the Fire Festival documentary drops on Netflix. I love this documentary. It is just, I think this should be essential viewing for any event organizer. Like, just, I think I've talked about it before, but like every red flag pops up and just pure arrogance takes over in the face of glaring logistics. How many people told him, no, don't do this. Here are reasons. Look at this. I've got good justifications. And he was just like, I don't want to hear no, okay? I don't want to hear, like he's in a Hallmark movie, like, no, if enough people believe it'll happen. This ain't Field of Dreams. This is Festival of Nightmares. I rewatched it. I think I rewatch it about every couple of years. I rewatch Fire Festival. And let's not forget the guy that was going to suck dick for the water truck. Employee of the Month. I think I talked about this last time. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Please go watch it. It just... Fire Festival, the festival that went down in flames. Beautiful. TV, the Game of Thrones final airs in 2019. So many people have told me to watch Game of Thrones. Again, I've seen the disappointment of people for the final, and I don't know if I can get into it. I don't know if I can start that journey knowing it ends terribly. All right, let's look at the music, or the songs, the top 5 songs of 2019. At number 5 is Wow by Post Malone. Why is it not Feet? Why is it not Feet Owen Wilson? It's like, surely Owen Wilson will be like, well, I hear you're doing a track. Hey, Post. Hey, I hear you're doing a track. This is my Owen Wilson. It would be great. Come on, get me on there. That's terrible. I listened to it. I like it. It's good. It sounds like a stripper track. Look, it very much sounds like to someone should be stripping to it. I was waiting for some variety, but then it kind of just is the kind of same all the way, and then it stops. A bit like a striptease. At number 4 this year was Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Like this year, Billie is Eilish. I don't know. Billie Eilish is huge. She's huge, and I know nothing about her. I don't even know how to say her last fucking name. But then again, I'm not her demographic. She was 17, right? I mean, I'm not her. I was a 37-year-old man. Like, I'm not. She's not going like, oh, how can I get through to her? You don't need to. Okay, you got hordes of young fans. I like the music of the track. I like the music. I'm not a fan of her singing. Like, I feel like she's not really trying. I don't really think she's putting a lot into it. You know what? It's just these moody teenagers doing nothing, trying to just drift by. Drift by? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, but again, it's not for me. It doesn't matter if I like the track or not, right? Either way, seriously impressive. She did this at 17. At 17, I was, I don't know, having crushes about my teachers. She's ruling the world. I'll tell you what I liked about this music video. The colors. The colors are very bold. Loved the color palette in that. At number 3 was Without Me by Halsey. It looks like Haley, but it's not. Halsey. When I saw it was called Without Me, I immediately thought of Eminem. Wish it was. I found this song so bland, I thought AI had written it before, like 2019 AI. Like, crap, terrible by today's standards, but really good by their standards in 2019. Look, it's not that it's bad. It's just, it sounds exactly like so many songs. Like, it sounds like it escaped from the pop song factory and went out to try to make it on its own, but at the end it realized, I am just another generic pop song. Number 2, Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee. This was great. I don't really know Post Malone. It makes me wonder more about Post Malone. Like, the range between this and Wow, is indicative of a proper artist. Like, to have range like this, both songs be really good. It's like, this guy gives a shit, God, I sound like a prick. Listen to me. It's indicative of a proper artist, someone who's really kind of invested into their craft. Blah. Who am I? At number 1, I love this song, Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, feat Billy Ray Cyrus. Who would have thought Billy Ray Cyrus would have come back from Achy Breaky Heart with something like this? It's the collab no one would have picked. It's really hard not to like this song. I mean, my daughter Clara brought this into my life, and I'm so glad she did. Who would have thought hip-hop and country music that go together? And for ages, everyone thought they were like bitter enemies. Like, they're like the Montagues and the Capulets. Like, this was their beautiful forbidden love, and we got this. I want to put it on straight after recording this. Let's look at video games in 2019. A lot of games come out that people know. Big releases this year. Things like Apex Legends, Gears of War 5, Days Gone, Untitled Goose Game, Disco Elysium, which I need to try again. I played about 25 minutes of it, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this. But a lot of people I know love Disco Elysium. I've got to give it another go. Control, again. I played it for about an hour and a half. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't feeling it. But it's a game that a lot of people love. I've got to give Control another go. Let me know if you played either of those and which one you think I should start with. I've found a top 5. I know I could never find top 5s for video games, but here's one that I found from the NPD group, which is a market research group in the US. So this is based on US sales. Okay, it's the best I got for this week. Okay, I'm sorry. At number 5 is Mortal Kombat 11. I was there for the original, man. You're up to number 11. I was there for Mortal Kombat 1. Didn't even call it Mortal Kombat 1. They called it Mortal Kombat. I completed it with every character. That's what I did on my Friday nights. Fighting games seem to have been making a little bit of a comeback. Like, for a while, fighting games were just there for the loyalists. But more people seem to be diving into fighting games, like especially when they throw in those franchise characters into them, like, you know, putting Terminator and RoboCop into Mortal Kombat. Number 4 was Borderlands 3. I'd like to give Borderlands a go. I don't know which one I can start with. Do I need to play them from number 1? I remember I was doing a show and technicians before the show had rigged up a huge projector and were playing Borderlands co-op on this massive screen. I mean, it must have been about like 4 meters by 6 meters. It was huge. And they looked like they were having so much fun playing it. I mean, this is why you need a geek in your life, so geeks can like rig shit up like this, so then they're like, hey, what happens if we plug this into the mains? You need someone like that in your life, and you can get like big projector video games. Number 3 was Madden NFL 20. Can you tell this list is from the US? God damn. John Madden must have been laughing all the way to the bank in 1984, because that's when this Madden NFL started. And he's getting a cut every year. At number 2 in the US was NBA 2K20. These... I'll get there. Hold on, I want to say something. But let me tell you the number 1. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which was the new one. This is confusing because Call of Duty 4 was actually Modern Warfare, launched back in 2007, but this is the new Call of Duty Warfare. The point I'm trying to make is the top 3 games in this list, well, they're from the US. They're all just the latest, you know, so Madden 2019, NBA 2019, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They're all just the latest in a never-ending line of these things being shat out year after year by these companies, like, especially the sports games, like things like basketball, American football, you know, like the FIFA games. The sport itself hasn't changed in decades. Like maybe the small odd rule here and there, but definitely not enough to warrant a new game every year. Every year. And, well, it's working because people, they make them because people buy them. Everyone thinks, oh, I've got to have the new shiny thing, right? They should be making maybe 2 per console. One when they don't know, you know, for the new console launch, and then one when they actually realize, oh, here's how you utilize the hardware of the latest console. But every year they manage to bring one out, and they're so expensive. So expensive, especially these days. Like a new game, you're looking at about 60 quid, 60 pounds. What is that in dollars? Like $80 a US? What's that, 120 bucks New Zealand? It's too much, man. Too much. For the same game. I don't know how they keep finding new features. Like this year, still football. Different color boots. Is that going to make you buy it? Anyway. My picks for video games this year. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Loved that. I've never played any of the original Resident Emails. Resident Emails? Sorry. Resident Email. New from Capcom. Resident Emails. You go around a haunted mansion trying to log into abandoned computer terminals and leaving regards. And there's only one bullet for yourself. Sorry, Resident Evil. It's Resident Email. Worst video game pitch ever. The first Resident Evil game I played was Resident Evil 5, which was very much an action game, and I didn't know that, that they'd moved away from their roots. I know a lot of purists didn't like Resident Evil 5 because it was too action. So I went back and played the Resident Evil 2 remake because everyone said it was great, and Resident Evil 1 was unplayable now. I loved this game, and I hate horror games. I hate horror movies, I hate horror games, I can't do them, I can't play them, but this game was awesome. Just something about, they nailed the aesthetic, the tone. It kind of felt like it's horror, but like if you got your shit together, you can survive this. And it was just that little sliver of hope of like, okay, don't freak out. And it also made it the whole way kind of like people are counting on you. So, you know, in a horror game, normally I just shrivel up and die, just like, kill me, take me. But these games make it so that we need you to do this to save someone. And you're like, oh God, okay, I'll do it for them. Me and my 3 bullets. Game of the year for me, though, had to be Jedi Fallen Order. Well done, EA. You can do something right. Jedi Fallen Order, I really enjoyed this. I think I was just hungry for some good Star Wars storytelling. Just Star Wars original flavor before they came out with all these new ridiculous flavors of Star Wars. Like, hey, here's Crystal Star Wars. No, just the original was great. Just more of that flavor, please. The music is spot on in this. The simplicity of only having a lightsaber as a weapon the entire game. I mean, why would you want anything else? The characterization of Cal Kestis is great. He's a fantastic character. They actually give him an arc and a good origin, and you feel for the guy. He's gone into hiding after Order 66. It's really good. And playing it just felt like, yes, this is Star Wars. This is pod racing. I mean, gameplay was pretty standard, but it was fun. And the combat felt great. It just nailed Star Wars. It was like a recipe that no one can quite get right. But when you come home and you have it, you're like, oh, this is it. Like when I bite into a New Zealand pie. Like no other country does pies like New Zealand. Trust me. If you are in New Zealand, have a pie. Have a pie. I played through this game in its entirety twice, which is not really what I tend to do. Even with games I really, really like. I haven't done that. Like God of War, I've only played through once. But this one, I kind of finished it. And I was like, I want to play that again. Let's have a look at movies this year. Movies that come out in 2019. Things like Toy Story 4. 1917 comes out. Terminator Dark Fate came out this year. Oh, I was really excited for this one. No. I went with my friend Nick to go see this, who's another huge Terminator fan, and we just kind of hated it. Like, what they were trying to do, the big sell with Terminator Dark Fate was like, okay, we know we've kind of screwed up the last two Terminator movies. Look, this one's going to be a direct sequel to Terminator 2, okay? We're just going to forget everything else. Direct sequel to Terminator 2. And if you're looking to go back and rewrite the mistakes of the past movies, maybe don't kill off the protagonist in the first 5 minutes of your movie. You know what the problem is? Like, movies like this, they don't just ruin themselves, they fuck up your enjoyment of the previous movie. The one where they spent the whole movie saving John Connor. You go back and watch that now, and it's really hard to appreciate because he's just going to die at the start of this one. Oh. It had all the things going for it. It was going to be produced by James Cameron. It had Linda Hamilton returning as Sarah Connor. It had such high hopes. No. Terminator is just such a cursed franchise now. Like, they've made about 6 movies, and 2 of them were good. Also, talking about bad sequels in a franchise, X-Men Dark Phoenix comes out this year. I stopped watching X-Men movies ages ago, mate. Like, I love the X-Men too much to put myself through this. I knew as soon as they released it, I didn't even watch a trailer. I was like, this looks like a bag of shit. And everyone who watched it just confirmed that. Hey, maybe just watch it for yourself and form your own opinion. Don't just listen. No, I don't want to. I know it's awful. You know what was... As soon as they made Mystique the leader of the X-Men, I was like, no, you've lost the plot. You have no idea what's going on anymore. There's no one at the wheel. No one. Also in 2019, Parasite comes out. Everyone loved this. I'm not sure what the big deal was. Maybe it's too artsy for me and I missed, is there some big metaphor for what the movie really is about? Oh, it's not actually about some guys just kind of trying to move in and live off these rich people. Like, it's much more kind of nuanced than that. I didn't see it. It was fine. I watched it because it was won Best Picture. And I was like, okay, let's check this out. And I found it, acting was good. But I was like, I could feel like, I think this is affecting people a lot more than it's affecting me, if you know what I mean. I could feel, when people like around you... when you see something and other people around you are crying, you're like, I have no idea. I'm just feeling hungry. I felt like that. Cats. The Cursed Cats movie comes out this year about the musical Cats, and they just managed to make the CGI nightmare fuel of human cat hybrid things. I mean, I did watch a little bit of this, and it's just uncanny valley the whole way through. It's just like, are they cats with humans' faces, or are they alien cat hybrid things? Are they an abomination that escaped a lab and learned how to sing? And the funny thing is, even, I don't know, maybe I haven't talked to enough fans, but there've been plenty of films about musicals, and often diehard fans of the musical will either hate the movie because it's not the musical, or they will get behind the movie because they love the musical so much. I know plenty of people that hated the movie because they love the musical, but there's not that counterbalance of the ones that are like, yes, I'm so happy they made this beautiful musical into a movie. Cats was one of those musicals I didn't know, I never watched the whole way through, but I knew that it's just kind of like cats introducing themselves. And when I got with Annie, who knew a lot about musicals, and I talked to other people that knew about musicals, I was like, can someone explain what Cats is? And no one could actually give me a proper answer. They were just like, it's just, cats. They come out and sing about themselves. And I was like, well, what's the fucking story? And then they're choosing a jellicle cat. What is a jellicle cat? It's a jellicle. No one. It's too batshit. It barely held itself together as a musical, narratively, right? So when you're in the theater under the lights with the live costumes and people dancing around you, you kind of can forget about the story. But when you peel that immersion away and just put it on the screen, there's nowhere to hide, right? Anyway, that's one of my theories of why this movie shouldn't have been made. Okay, let's look at the top 5 movies of 2019. At number 5, Captain Marvel. Didn't like it. One of the very few MCU movies I walked out of going, that wasn't great, was it? I mean, people always point at this one as like a 0.4, like female-led things, and they go, it made over $1 billion. No, it wasn't really just because it was Captain Marvel. It was because Endgame was about to come out, and every Marvel fan felt that this was going to be crucial to understanding Endgame. Like, this was just kind of the start of the girl boss. I remember watching this and just going like, is she just not really fighting for anything? Is she just... I don't think she's going through any sort of struggle, which isn't making this very satisfying. And at the end, it was just like, you were powerful all along. Just like, lazy shit. Number 4, Spider-Man Far From Home. I enjoyed it a lot. It's just funny. I enjoyed this one a lot, but never watched it again and never felt like I need to watch it again. Loved Jake Gyllenhaal in it. He's a great villain. Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. He's a great man. Number 3, Frozen 2. And that's the end of Frozen. We haven't had another Frozen since. And if they were going to make one, now's the kind of time you'd want to do it, because all your fans are growing up and getting jobs and realizing, I'm never going to have ice powers. Frozen 2, again, blondes. Elsa just gets the best of everything. In the first movie, she's the only one with ice powers, and at the end she becomes a queen, ruler of Arendelle. And in this one, she goes, hey, Anna, my sister, you can have Arendelle. You rule it now, because I've realized I'm a god, kind of. I'm actually a god. So I'm going to go off and be a god now. See you later. Some sisters just get all the luck. Number 2 was the Lion King remake. And I think this is what greenlit a lot of the rest of the Disney remakes. And it made $1.6 billion worldwide. That is huge. I mean, it's not really a live action remake, is it? I mean, live action is when you have humans. It's a movie entirely cast by animals and they're CGI. Why was this made, and why did so many people go watch it? Aladdin also came out this year, which came in at number 9 worldwide. This is number 2. So this is the year that kind of like the Disney remakes. I think they'd done Jungle Book before this, but this one, $1.6 billion of a live action, quote unquote, live action Lion King. No wonder they're like, okay, we're making all of them. We're remaking all of them. And at number 1, no surprises here, Avengers Endgame. I mean, this was the finale we deserved. We got it. I could talk about Endgame, but let's just take a moment to appreciate that this was a monumental ask of a movie to tie up, finish, complete the 23 movie run that they'd set up. This is the year that they tried to end Game of Thrones and people went, no, that's not the ending. The MCU was essentially trying to tie it all up here in one movie, and they fucking pulled it off wonderfully. Let's appreciate the hundreds of hours of whiny YouTube videos we've been spared of armchair reviewers pulling this thing apart had this thing been a failure. Right? And they would have been providing their own fixes. And I know those little snot-nosed nerd bastards, because I'm one of them. Imagine that millions of video essays about, okay, this is what's everything that's wrong with Avengers Endgame. They pulled it off. Fucking nailed it. You don't need me to tell you that it was a perfect send-off to the MCU, and I often like to imagine it ended there. I went to go watch it with my friend Gary in London, to a midnight screening, and they did a thing where they played Infinity War at about 10 o'clock at night. And then, so you did a double feature. You watched Infinity War and then Endgame at midnight. There was a guy next to me, and he was watching Infinity War, and he was so excited. And then about 20 minutes into Endgame, I looked over, and he'd just fallen asleep. Bless him, he was just a young guy, and he'd just fallen asleep. And I was like, oh, I want to wake you up, but I'm not going to wake up a stranger. Anyway, we've been so excited about it. He just went, he was out. My picks for the year of 2019. I mean, because it's pretty franchise-heavy. I mean, the whole top 5 is all franchises, right? So let's have a look at some of the other picks of the year. For me, this year, great movies. Rocket Man, Elton John biopic. Jojo Rabbit. Holy shit, that's good. Oh, man. Oof. It's one of those movies that I love. I can pretty much only watch it once. It's just too hard. Fighting with My Family. This came out of nowhere. It's got Florence Pugh, and it's based on a real-life wrestler. It's about a family that likes professional wrestling. And I chucked it on thinking it'd be this kind of comedy. It's got so much heart. It's really good. It's so worth your time. But my movie of the year for 2019 is Le Mans 66, or Ford versus Ferrari, as it's released in the US and other parts of the world. I watched this off the back of it having Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Like, it's maybe the second movie about motor racing that's... motor racing that's really kind of surprised me. First one being Rush with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. That was great. This one, I loved it. Annie and I have watched this together, Le Mans 66, about 5 times. There is everything to love about this movie. Like the underdog story, the backstabbing, the grit, the friendship. But this movie is carried, floated by the performances of Matt Damon and Christian Bale. They're superb in scenes on their own, and they absolutely soar, fueled by their chemistry when they're together. That scene, it's so good together. Particularly like the scene where Matt Damon comes in and after they lose the first, no spoilers, but he comes into a very disappointed Henry Ford. And he's like, well, we lost a Ferrari, but we've got him right where we want him. the balls to say that. And Henry Ford's like, explain yourself. And he does all this, and at the end he turns him around and he goes, you're all welcome. Annie and I still say that to each other whenever we do something. Personally, in 2019, what happened? We had a huge family trip to Disneyland. It was a big family. My dad's side of the family reunion. We went to Disneyland. It was great. We got t-shirts. It was awesome. I found out that Pirates of the Caribbean is terrifying for a 2-year-old. Poor Clara. I was like, oh, nice little boat trip and animatronic pirates singing. Poor thing buried her head into like into my chest for the whole thing, just trying to hide away. They just kind of opened Star Wars, the Star Wars section of Disneyland, and I saw a full-size Millennium Falcon. I just stood in front of it and just like, there was half the, I think that's what I remember most of that day, just standing in front of it, just looking at it like, oh my God. Dream come true. What a nerd. There was a huge fireworks display and a parade at the end of the day, and this happens every day. Every day they do this. I think Disneyland is one of those places that there is magic and happiness and wonder every single day of the year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they only take like maybe 1 or 2 days off a year, if at all. So the people do this. They provide this like, look, this magic and wonder. Oh, look, wow. So it's not special. It's every day they do this. Or is it special because they do this? They replicate this every day. Ask any performer who does this, like just going out and doing the same thing again. We have to feel, get up there and show me some goddamn teeth. They're so dead behind the eyes, but they got to go out there and put on the fucking can. They did it wonderfully. But what would you expect? Would you expect anything less from Disney? And it's all for the kids. Fuck the Disney adults. Like, guys, sort yourselves out. Like, look, there's nothing wrong with being an adult liking Disney. I'm an adult who likes Disney, but when they make this as their personality, no one wants to talk to you. No one wants to look at your pictures. We'll find you a little bit creepy when if your happiest thing is Disney as an adult, if nothing else is giving you happiness apart from Disney as an adult in Disneyland, you fucked up. You fucked up somewhere, okay? And I know, I'm a huge nerd who loves a lot of Disney properties. And I'm telling you, sort yourself out. It's not too late, okay? It's not too late. This year, professionally, I was doing, like I said, I was doing a lot of Card Ninja in Australia, this tour of the UK. I wanted to do more stand-up because I could feel myself getting lost in cards. And so this year, I said I'm going to write a stand-up show and take it to Edinburgh. And I wrote a show that I really was happy with. I just wanted to do it. It was called Boring as Fuck. Javier Hakeem, Boring as Fuck. And I was so excited because I was going to be in the Free Fringe in this venue I'd always wanted to play in Espionage, if you're au fait with the Fringe, in one of the sub rooms called Matahari. It was a room I'd played loads of lineup shows in, and it was always a great atmosphere in there, and I was dying to do my solo show in there. I was so excited to do this. Like, you know, some years of Edinburgh was to make money, and some years was like, this was my year of like, I want to be creative and express myself and blah, blah, blah. And this stand-up show that I wrote was it. Then, about a month out, Richard Branson, his hotel was doing a refurb next door to Espionage, and it was shut down. We lost the venue. And we were told, everyone that was going to have shows in there, we were told, don't worry, we're going to find an alternative, okay? And they found something. It was on Cowgate, and its location was the only saving grace because it was smack bang in the kind of heart of the Fringe. They found these 2 old concrete storage rooms, and they turned them into, I'm going to say, venues. They looked like giant jail cells. They smelt. I think they'd clearly been storing shit for a long time. They had no toilets, so they brought in portaloos that were right outside the door to your show, and they had their own smell, and they leaked some blue shit. So every time your audience would walk in or out of your venue, they'd all look at the floor and be like, what is that leaking out of the portaloo? There was no ventilation in these rooms. The acoustics were terrible. People sat down on these benches in the rooms. No one cleaned up after themselves, so there was rubbish everywhere that you had to pick up before your show started. Also, all the printing for posters and flyers had to be redone with the new venue info on it. But it was too late for the program, the actual official Fringe program. So my venue info was wrong in there. I hated this Edinburgh season. I mean, there might have been about 5 or 6 shows out of the 27 I did that I actually enjoyed, that had good crowds. But this venue was awful. There was nosebleed. You had like a curtain to stop all the noise from the street coming in, all the drunks and yelling and other noise. It was so hard to work in there. The lighting was terrible. Like, it was a shitty lamp, and if someone knocked it, you were out of light, and the microphone got more and more fucked as the season went on because no one looked after it. It was just, I was so excited to be in what I thought was going to be my favorite venue and just kind of let loose with this show that I'd written. And then we just had this really shitty alternative. One of Annie's friends turned up to see me, and it was just so embarrassing to kind of like, hey, come into this place that looks like it's a trap. Like, it did the show, and, you know, there's fuck all people watching it as well, because who would want to come? It was so uninviting. Like, they finished the show, and they couldn't wait to get out of there, and I couldn't blame them. Oh, it was just one of those Edinburghs that I really wish. I hated it. I really hated it. But as bad as the setup was there, I would have given anything to do it the following year, because the following year was 2020. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's next episode. I don't want to do it either. Sorry to end this one on such gloom and doom. But hey, everything worked out from where I am right now. So, fuck it. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Next time is 2020. I don't want to do it either, guys. Okay? I have to, though. All right? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your patience. And I will catch you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.
It's time to